Hello, I'm Stuart Bloor. This is Naya, my granddaughter. Hello, Naya.
Hello, Kika.
Anyway, I'm off after my favourite species, and in this video I do something which is quite unusual for me. I actually tell you the venue. What's that, a fly? A fly just got past. I tell you the venue that I'm going on and also the club behind it so you can fish it for yourself. Anyway, Naya, do you want to come fishing one time in the future with Grandad?
Yeah.
Okay, so as they say, watch this space, but for now, let's go bankside. I've just arrived. Behind me is the venue in question. I'm going to get all the gear together and then we'll get a bait out there and we'll catch some perch. And the first thing that I'm doing today is to find out how much water I've got in front of me. Although I have fished here before, I'm familiar with it, you still need to be quite exact. I'm float fishing. Now if you watch my videos regularly, you'll know that I'm normally on the ledger, but there's nothing like watching a float disappear, is there? And I'm fishing quite a small one, as you can see there. It's a 3 number 4, and so what you need to do to find out how much water is in front of you is use a plummet. And they come in different shapes and sizes, but the principle is the same. You thread the hook and the line through that there at the top and hook it then into the cork at the bottom. So what you do is you cast out, that will sink right to the bed of the lake, and you'll then be able to know, because you fix your float, you'll then be able to know how much water is there. If you fixed the float to the plummet too short, that will disappear. You need to move your shot up a little bit. If you've given yourself a foot or 2 feet over, then of course you need to drop the shot likewise until you can get it just as you want it to be. So I've arrived, I know how much water's in front of me. I'm fishing at 11 feet. This is a pool that's been dug out, so it's perfect for float fishing. Although it doesn't have the feel of a commercial about it, it's grown over the years, lots of natural vegetation, lots of wildlife, not heavily fished at all. When I arrived, can you believe what I saw? It's noon, the sun's high in the sky. I saw a bat feeding over the pool, and by the looks of it, I caught a brief glimpse of it. It was a Benton's bat taking insects off the surface. I was hoping to capture it on camcorder. Unfortunately, it did a disappearing act, but if it comes back out again, then of course I'll get it. But I've got that. I'm fishing with 4-pound line, a size 10 Drennan Super Specialist, and I'll be feeding brown crumb and red maggots, but the all important one on the hook, the bait on the hook to tempt the perch today, is a worm. Well, first cast, and as you can see, I've got a family of Canada geese, very interested. I threw the bait out, that brought them in, but what I'm really after is the perch. Although having said that, there's not just perch in here, of course, other species, including carp, and I've just seen a couple of fish cruising, maybe a foot or so beneath the surface. But I'm watching the float, I'm waiting for some action. Any moment now, I'm confident that I'll certainly get amongst the fish today. And of course my blog is more than just fishing. This weekend just gone, I was very honoured to be involved with the FA of Wales Welsh Premier League Awards Night, and you can see some of the photographs from that up there on the screen next to me. It was great, really enjoyed it, thoroughly enjoyed the evening, went with my wife, we stayed overnight up in Flintshire at the hotel. Fantastic. I didn't have long to wait, small, perfectly formed, and more importantly, from an angler's perspective, I'm not a blanker. And another one bites the dust. And as you can see there, hooked cleanly in the mouth. The last thing you want, especially with perch, is for them to take the bait right the way down. You need disgorgers just in case, but it's like an insurance policy. You don't really want to use them. And that, of course, is why you need to plumb the depth, because if you've got too much line between the float and the bait, the perch can be picking that worm up, it can be swallowing it, and you don't get any indication whatsoever on the float. You need to be, as I am now, directly in touch with the bait, and it's gone. And here we go, one live on camera. I think they're getting a little bit bigger, as in this one might be half an inch longer or something. But you know what? It's great fun, and that is what fishing is all about. And as you can see, to illustrate the point that I was just making, hooked cleanly in the edge of the mouth. I can take it out by hand. That's what you want. Been continuing to catch them non-stop actually. I haven't filmed every one, of course, and this one is on a worm that's just come out. See, that's how good it was hooked there. That one was on a worm that had caught 3 other fish before it. So the same worm, I think it's about to be retired now, has landed 4 of these little small, but as I say, beautiful, perfectly formed perch, my favourite species. I've been catching an endless stream of fish so far, all tiny ones. Not that I'm complaining, far from it, but this one that I've just landed is the biggest so far. It's about 2.5, so I'm going to show you this right now on the screen. And when I said 2.5, I meant 2.5 ounces. But as I say, fantastic fun, a great place to spend a few hours on a sunny summer's afternoon. After the Welsh Premier League awards evening, we kicked off the new season as far as TNS Radio is concerned when we did a charity game at Park Hall. We were awash with celebrities, but let's not forget the stars that give their time as volunteers for charity work. And there were 2 charities represented. Both of them work with children's bereavement. That's their wider call, including respite care, counselling, all that sort of thing. And again, we had a fantastic time. The celebrities didn't come off too well. They lost 7-1, but you know what? It's not about what happens on the pitch. It's about the finance that was raised for the 2 charities concerned, and that ran into 4 figures, so that was fantastic. Well, they are definitely getting bigger. Still talking about the ounces, of course, and that one is the largest fish so far of the session. It took me a few minutes when I arrived to get the first little bit of action, but since then it's been frantic all afternoon. I've had a continual stream of small perch, and the key to this type of fishing is to keep them competitive. You have to try to work out, say for example, 30 fish out there. Well, don't put 40 maggots at a time, put 20, put 10. Keep them competing against each other, and that will give you the edge, because it is a battle, isn't it? It's you versus the fish. And what you do is you put bait out, maybe you increase it. If you increase it, you notice that your bite rate falls. Therefore, hold back a little bit and you get a little bit of an idea. It doesn't take long to do that. You get an idea of just what you've got in front of you. Well, I know for a fact that I've got a big shoal of small perch, and in these conditions the water temperature's high, there's lots of them out there, perch are greedy enough as it is. I've got the feeding pattern just right, little and often. That's the approach that I'm going for. So every minute or so I'm throwing out probably about 20 maggots, 10 maggots sometimes, and then a ball of ground bait in between. And I've just got that right now, that the fish are competing with each other. I'm stimulating them, but at the same time I'm catching as well. I'm not just feeding them. Faith and football, can you come and talk to us about it? Well, recently I had that exact invitation and I went along just a few days ago, as this blog is coming out live, to talk to a group of 100 men in Dudley about faith and football. In other words, my own life story. My granddad, come on, she's coming to join me. Anyway, this is the way we flow. Anyway, that was fantastic, really enjoyed it. My faith is very important to me. And you've got a mask there, you're going to put a mask on. And my faith is very important to me, and of course football plays a big part in my life, and that was great. Of course you can read a little bit about that in the blog as well. So if you're interested in fishing here, the bad news is that Kimber Freeliners has a 3-year waiting list at the moment. The good news, however, is that this place is available on a day ticket, £5 on the bank. Now, of course, you may be watching this video some years down the line, so make sure you check out the Kimber website first for all up-to-date information. But it's a fantastic place. The nearest houses is a little cluster of lodges about 400 metres away, and the one thing you notice when you fish here is that you don't hear any cars. The only sound, bird song, and that suits me perfectly. Lots of fish, great place to be. Why not come down and grab yourself a day on the bank here at Woodlands. There are 2 pools here, and only the first one is available on day ticket. Access is down a track, so obviously if the weather's too bad then you may need to park at the top, but that's another issue altogether. I'm talking about enjoying the day as it is today, and you can park right next to the pool. I'm on the farthest end and I've only got a 30-second walk from the car. Access is very good, no hot spots either. You can basically turn up, fish anywhere, get the bait out there, and then within minutes, as I proved today, the fish will be in your swim and you'll have a great session. Well, that's me done. It's not even dusk yet, nowhere near dark. I fished in the worst conditions really, if you like, the middle of the day with the sun out, just a few hours, and I've had a fantastic afternoon. I didn't use my landing net once, but it doesn't matter, you know, whether we're after a £50 carp or 1 ounce perch. As long as we're enjoying ourselves and having a good time, that's what angling is all about. I hope you've enjoyed this week's video. As always, I've enjoyed putting it together, not just the fishing of course, but also chatting here and having my granddaughter Naya on air, so to speak, with me. Have you enjoyed it, Naya?
Yeah.
Has it been good?
Yeah.
You're about to be watching this, won't you, in the future with Mama? You're about to say, look Mama, there I was with Grandad on his video. Hey, don't forget, if you're out and about yourself, tight lines. As always, check out the written blog that accompanies the video. You can find that via the comments box here on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, check me out. Love to connect with you. Just add me and we can go on that, can't we? So say bye-bye, Naya.
Bye.